and the Maritime Harness Racing track operators. And now, here's your host, Howie Trainer.
Hi, and welcome again to another edition of At the Track. This week, we'll talk with Wally Hennessey, one of the Maritime's premier harness racing drivers. We'll also take a tour of Exhibition Park Raceway in St. John, a track of many firsts in the Maritimes. Our race of the week from Champlain Raceway, and we'll look at 3 big stars. Back in a moment. Horse in the world, but it doesn't matter a lick unless you have a good driver. We're going to talk with Wally Hennessey, one of the outstanding drivers in the Maritimes. Over the last 6 years, he has dominated maritime harness racing, winning both driving titles at Exhibition Park Raceway and in the Maritimes. Here's what Wally has to say about driving.
If you feel you have a horse that can move early in the mile, you can move him. If you feel you don't have one that can move early in the mile and still give you that finishing kick, you can't move him. You've got to take the chance of sitting and staying and hope something opens up to the stretch. And it does. You speak to the horse from your hands to his mouth, and you can feel in your hands, you know, the horse from the horse's mouth when, like, not necessarily that you got a hold of him either. You can, the horse's head will either drop down further, or you never had the hold that you had on him, you know, all along. You know that he's getting tired. You know, they speak to you through their mouth.
Any other signs? Does the tail go down, the ears go down?
Oh, yeah, wag the tail and the ears go down. But that is all, it's still coming, you know, from the hand to the mouth sort of thing. But that, there is horses that, you know, when they're starting to die off, they'll start to swish the tail and stuff like that, yeah.
Okay, the ultimate aim in the race is to win the race, but what else do you have to watch for when you're out there, well, in the way of someone not bumping into you?
Yeah, well, see, everybody has that same opinion. Like, there's 8 horses or 9 horses in a race, and they all think when they go out that they can win this race. So everybody has the same thought in their mind now. Everybody isn't doing the exact same thing in a race. But when you leave, when you go up behind the gate, like, you have to have your race pretty well planned out, what you're going to do and how the race is going to work out. And 9 times out of 10, it doesn't work the way you think it's going to, but everything seems to come all right.
Okay, you mentioned you have a pretty good idea of what you want to do in a race. Let's say you're in a free-for-all competition and the horse you have can't leave very well. How, and the horse is inside if you can. What's going through your mind there?
Well, that's easy to do, really. Like, if your horse can't leave, your mind's already made up. It's when the horse can leave and there's horse on the inside that can leave with you, that's when you're really in trouble. Because if the horse can't leave, well, you only have one option. That's go to the back and hope that they go a good, fast front end and you can catch them in the back end of it. But if your horse can leave, you do have to take a chance sometimes and leave out and hope that you can make front, or there might be a hole that you could, you know, fall into and hope for the best from there on.
Do you have a preference yourself, racing from behind or setting the pace yourself?
Not really. Like, the front end's a nice place to be because then they got to catch you, but all horses are different and they can't make front. Like, see, some horses, you can use them 2 and 3 times in a race, but then there are horses that you can only use once. If you use that to leave, you have no finishing touch in them then. So you got to know pretty well by your horse what you're going to do. Like, if you got a horse that can leave and hang on while you leave, then you just take it by the horse pretty well.
Okay, just to enlighten some people who might not know some of the terminology, what do you mean when you say use a horse?
Well, I guess you could compare it, okay, to a person that's running. Well, if he started off in a mile race, a person that was running, he run, you know, as fast as he could run for the first quarter of a mile, the last quarter he wouldn't be able to do that. And this is what I mean by when you leave with a horse, some horses you can leave with them and leave as fast as they can take. Then you can give them a breather in the mile, some part of the mile, and they'll still have a good finishing kick. And then there are horses that if you lose at leaving, they can't finish because they've already used up all they've got. So, you know, you can kind of compare it to a human, you know. If they're going a 2-mile race and they rate themselves, you know, where the horse depend on the driver to rate him like that.
Exhibition Park Raceway in St. John has been dubbed the Maritime's harness racing giant, and it's also been a track of many firsts. They've had the first computerized parimutuel system, first track with $5, $10, $15, $20, and $25,000 purses. EPR has been a giant. Connell Smith toured EPR this week.
Exhibition Park Raceway is going through a recovery. The bet has been down, but it's on its way back up again. And track manager Douglas Cowell says racing has a great future in St. John, at a track which has historically played a major role in maritime racing.
Well, yes, we've been the first in a lot of things over the years. We were the first track in the Atlantic province to have a $5,000 invitational. We were the first track to have a $20,000 invitational. And I think we were the first tracks to start a single dashes, racing single dash. One time every track raced double dashes, and we were the first track to start racing single dashes in the Maritimes.
Along with its historical significance, Exhibition Park Raceway is proud of the times recorded here.
We're the fastest half-mile track in the Maritimes with a record of 2.5, an average of 2.5. Other than the 5/8 mile track, which is operating in Moncton, which is better than that. But the 5/8 mile, for a half-mile track, ours is 2.5.
For the public, Exhibition Park Raceway offers the excitement of racing from the comfort of its licensed lounges.
We have right now, we have 3 lounges, 2 regular lounges, and we have a new lounge that we built last September, which is rather nice, been well accepted by the people. This lounge will be, we hope this spring, have a deck around it, which will allow the people on a nice day, like today, to be sitting outside and bedding their horse from outside, getting a nice fresh air.
Beside the track, in the stables area, a thriving community hums 7 days a week, 12 months of the year. Horses are boarded, groomed, and of the utmost importance, trained here. The winners and losers are put through the paces every day. Hope is pinned on every horse, winners, future winners, and those destined to be also rans. Here, owners, drivers, trainers, blacksmiths, grooms, and stable boys pin their hopes and dreams on horses. This entire community exists for one reason. The betting public. A revitalized Exhibition Park Raceway will host several big races this spring and summer.
We've got the Rothman races coming up there for the 2- and 3-year-olds who go for real good money, and that's a big factor. All the tracks bid in that every year, and we were the lucky bidders this year. We outbid the other tracks, surprisingly, because everybody thought where we were down for so long we wouldn't bid on it, but we did bid on it, and we come out the best bidder.
Post times at Exhibition Park Raceway are 2 p.m. Saturdays and 7:30 Wednesday evenings. For At the Track, I'm Connell Smith.
This week, our race of the week comes from Champlain Raceway in Dieppe, the Maritime's only 5/8 mile track. 5 pacers went head-to-head, and it proved to be a very interesting race indeed. LaRue, owned by Mr. Omer Casey, and Mr. Bertin Cormier of Cocan, Mr. Joe Gogan driving. The number 2 horse, Kilkerran Direct, owned by Mr. Gordon McLean of Sleeman Park, Prince Edward Island, and Mr. Dean Baglow of Freetown, Prince Edward Island, Mr. Darrell McLean driving. Number 3 is Tolan Hanover, owned by Beckellum Farm Limited of Salisbury, Mr. Doug Beckwith driving. 4, Superior Skipper, owned by Dr. Jacques Beaulieu of Moncton with Mr. Ed Beers driving. And number 5, All Finesse, owned by the EMS Stable of Fredericton, Mr. Mike Downey driving. Race 9, our feature with 5 starters. They're off. Kilkerran Direct has the lead. Up on the outside, Tolan Hanover Racing 2. P.H. LaRue is on the rail moving 3. All Finesse on the outside 4 and along the rail. Superior Skipper races 5. They go to the paddock turn. Raced by the opening 8th. Kilkerran Direct is out in front a length and a half. That's Tolan Hanover Racing in 2. 3 lengths off and moving 3 is P.H. LaRue. All Finesse in 4 and Superior Skipper Racing 5. They're around the paddock turn and by the quarter in 30 and 3. Off the turn, they move down the stretch in front of the stand for the first time. Kill Kieran Direct out in front, leads by a length and a quarter. Toll and Hanover is racing 2. P.H. LaRue moving 3. All Finesse in 4. Superior Skipper races 5 as they go to the turn. On their way to the half-mile, positions are unchanged. Kill Kieran Direct is out in front, a length and a quarter. Toll and Hanover second on the rail there by the half-mile, 1:01 and 4. P.H. LaRue 3, All Finesse 4, and the trailer is Superior Skipper as they go down the back stretch for the final time. It's still Kill Kieran Direct, a length and a quarter out in front. Toll and Hanover is on the rail, driving 2. P.H. LaRue now on the outside, racing 3. All Finesse is moving 4, and Superior Skipper. They go to the turn now for the 3/4 mile marker. Kill Kieran Direct makes it a length and a half. 3/4, 1:31 and 3. It's Kill Kieran Direct out in front. Toll and Hanover driving 2. P.H. LaRue racing 3. All Finesse on the rail, moving 4. Superior Skipper to the outside at the 7/8. They come on home. Kill Kieran Direct. Toll and Hanover driving 2, racing for the wire. Kill Kieran Direct. Toll and Hanover, they come on home. It's Kill Kieran Direct, going to be Kill Kieran Direct in 2:01 and 2.
You were telling me the colt was fast. You almost sounded surprised at how fast he went tonight.
No, not surprised. I've known he's been a fast colt, but I've yet to find how fast he really can go.
How fast can he go?
I don't know. He went 2-1 there fairly easy. He's just a terrific colt so far. He's 5 for 5 this year.
Okay, was it your strategy to set the pace right from the beginning, or is that just how it's set up?
No, I looked over the program, and there's not that many that like to cut out the miles in there. And this colt, he's been real good at the front. He can sit from behind. He's just been doing everything, so there's nothing in there to cut it, so I figured I might as well take control.
Okay, now the track is obviously in pretty good condition tonight. There have been some pretty good times.
Yeah, the track's real fast. It's probably the fastest piece of track in the Maritimes, I'd say, right now.
Okay, what's the future for you and your horse?
Well, we're going to Halifax in next Friday, I guess it is, over there in the 3-year-old series they have for 3 legs to go for a final, and then after that we're gearing for the Rothmans and the stake races in June the rest of the summer.
Yeah, 5 in a row now?
Yeah, 5 in a row.
5 in a row.
Yeah.
6 in a row possible? I mean, when's it stop? How does it stop?
No, it's just going to have to be a better horse to beat him now.
Last week was a very interesting week around the Maritimes as far as races went at Sackville Downs. Jig Time Buddy pacing in 2:03 for owner-driver Barry Fagan of Moncton. The former free-for-all ace Saul's Pride continued his comeback. He won in 2:04 and 4 at Charlottetown. Captain Jamie recorded the fastest trot mile of 1986 in the Maritimes, also at Charlottetown, a mile in 2:05 and 4. Prince Lee Susie and Jerry Snow won in 2:06 and 4 at Sydney, and that's where Doug Rankin had 3 winners on last Sunday's program. At Truro, which opened its season last week, a quick mile by the 3-year-old Kalmar Bud. He took a new record of 2:05 and 2 on Sunday. Over at Summerside, Snappy Breeze in 2:06 and 2 for Joey Pino. That was the quickest mile, with Glenn McKay and Frank Hansen each picking up 2 winners on that program. At St. John, it was the Labatt Blue Crown Series. We look at it from the stretch drive home.
They're neck and neck at Odd Joe racing on third. Heels led fourth. It is Glengale Galaxy now. Here they are at the line. Glengale Galaxy, then Gemini Risk. Odd Joe on the run. Heels led, and Night Hunter was fifth. And the time for the mile, 2:01 and 3.
At the Track's glossary this week takes another look at the world of terminology in harness racing, and we'll stick with the pari-mutuel aspect. The quiz this week. You must correctly select the horses to finish first and second in that order in one race. Question, what is the exactor? At the Track's glossary returns next week with more terminology. A busy week shaping up in harness racing next week, starting at Sackville Downs, the Coca-Cola Classic. It's an event for 3-year-olds. That series gets underway Friday night. Over in St. John on Saturday afternoon, the final preliminary leg in the Labatt Blue Crown Series. At Summerside, Paul Stearman night is Wednesday night's feature. At Champlain Raceway, tonight a $1,000 invitational. And tomorrow afternoon at Truro, it's the Mother's Day Invitational. They also race at Sydney and Charlottetown. Of 1985 in North America was Falcon Sealster. He was purchased as a yearling by Francis Bellevue of Dieppe, New Brunswick, and sold in Florida to Charlie Day of Maine and Tom Harmer of Illinois. And he went on to be one of the greatest bargains ever in harness racing. Another star was the father and son combination, the father not racing anymore, but the son certainly showed his daddy up in 1985. Let's look back at two big giants.
In any other year, a colt like Falcon Sealster might also win Horse of the Year honors hands down. But the son of Warm Breeze, due to a mix-up, was not eligible to any of the rich 3-year-old events. But despite that handicap, he did go on to win 24 of 31 starts and over $800,000. And he electrified a Delaware, Ohio crowd of over 47,000 by shattering the world record on a half-mile track.
What's the 3/4 gonna be? 1:22.4. And Falcon Sealster opens up for Tom Harmer. If you've never been on your feet, you better get up now. It's Falcon Sealster opening up now by 15 lengths, 17, 19. Falcon Sealster and Tom Harmer coming on. Look at the time there. 1:51.
Falcon Sealster's big win put the pressure on another 3-year-old set to make his debut on a half-mile track later in the same program. Annihilator, master of the mile tracks, but untried on the twice-around.
The 3/4 in 1 at 26-3. At 3/4 in 28-3. And opening up is Niatros.
Niatros, the speedy son of Albatross, fastest standard-bred of all time. When he retired in 1980, folks said we wouldn't see another horse so fast in our lifetime. But we didn't have to wait quite that long. Annihilator, from Niatros's very first crop of foals, rewrote most of his daddy's records for speed and money during 1985. In their careers, these father and son speedsters posted amazingly similar marks. Niatros won 37 of 39 and $2.02 million, and of course, paced a dramatic mile of 1:49.1 at Lexington's Red Mile in October of 1980. Annihilator was a winner of 35 of his 38 career starts, winning over $3.2 million and taking the fastest harness race of all time, a 1:49.3 score at the Meadowlands in August. Only 2 horses have won both Meadowlands Pace and Woodrow Wilson, both million-dollar events, Niatros and Annihilator. And Annihilator's win in the 1985 Meadowlands Pace was the fastest harness race ever under the lights, stopping the timer in 1:50.3.
So it's Annihilator and Anxious Robbie. Annihilator reclaims the lead at the top of the stretch. He hit 3/4 in 1:23.3. Annihilator's going to work. He's pouring it on. He's opened up a 4-length lead, and there's an 1/8 of a mile to come. Anxious Robbie has dropped out of it now. Chairman of the board toward the inside and Primus on the outside. A 1/16 to go. Annihilator, what a powerhouse. He's in full stride. Here's Annihilator. Bill O'Donnell urging him to a sensational mile.
Barely 2 weeks later, Annihilator faced 3- and 4-year-olds in an invitational over the same track, part of the nationally televised Hamiltonian Day card. Over 37,000 saw the fastest race mile of all time, a sparkling 1:49.3.
Annihilator taking charge, a dramatic rush to the lead. Falcon Sealster comes off the rail. The first quarter, 26-2. Here's the half mile, 53 4/5 seconds. He's ahead of Niatros's pace. His half mile was 54-3. And the field moves into the far turn. Annihilator and Bill O'Donnell at the lines. They're in front by 2 lengths. Falcon Sealster is second. The others are far behind. It's almost 10 lengths back to Stonebridge Skipper Racing in third. Less than 3/8 of a mile to go. Annihilator looking for the world record. Falcon Sealster in close pursuit. 7 lengths now back to the rest. The 3/4 mark, 1:21 2/5 seconds. The field turns for home. Annihilator with long and powerful strides. And Bill O'Donnell urging him on. They're after the world record. Falcon Sealster is racing in second. They're coming to the final 16th. It's only Annihilator against the clock. Falcon Sealster in pursuit. They're coming to the finish. O'Donnell going to work. Here's Annihilator. Here's the final time. 1:49.3.
From there, it was on to Springfield, Illinois. The big mile track had seen the fastest miles in the history of the sport 1 year ago, and Niatros's 1:49.1 mark seemed sure to fall. But the only thing that fell was rain. 2 days of it that robbed Nihilator of his first attempt to better his sire. The next stop would be Du Quoin, but an attempt there fell short. And after a win in the Dancer Memorial at Garden State, a last-minute decision sent Nihilator to Delaware, Ohio for the Little Brown Jug. Nihilator had passed the Messenger and Kane first 2 legs of the Triple Crown, giving fuel to his critics, who said he couldn't handle the 4 sharp turns of a half-mile track, something a good horse had to do in order to be called great. The Jug, like the Messenger and Kane, is raced on a half-miler, so Nihilator faced the unknown before 47,000 fans, biggest crowd to see a harness race all year. In the second and final heat, Nihilator answered his critics.
3 quarters, 1, 23, 2, 28 and 4, third quarter.
You know, the second heat was an awesome race. You know, he was pressured every step. And then, you know, as soon as one dropped off, Marauder came, and as soon as Marauder got done, and Persian Square and Dignitarian, you know, they took a shot at him, and he was getting tired, but you know, the wire come up and made a winner of it.
Pershing Square comes to the outside. Nihilator, Pershing Square and Dignitarian. Nihilator at the rail. 1:52, 1/5.
The many world records set in 1985 by Nihilator would seem safe for many years to come. But then again, that's what we said when Niatros hung up his tack and retired from the racing wars. The sons and daughters of Nihilator will make their racing debuts in 1989. It's just a hunch, but I'm pretty certain we'll be telling you of their exploits when we join you for our presentation, The Stars of '89. Until then, stay tuned.
That's it for this week's show. Next week, we'll tour the Charlotte Breeding Ranch near Sussex. Our feature race will come from Truro Raceway, and veteran Dave Pinkney will talk all about the breaking and training of colts. For next week only, At the Track will be airing at 2:30. I'm Howie Trainer. At the Track. See you next time.